I came on here today to talk about mysteries. We have these mysteries hidden in these clay jars, plain ordinary pots, not refined, just plain. I find that where you're not looking for wisdom, where it seems like it's an ordinary place, this is where God hides wisdom. I have lived, in some people's eyes, not very long, in some people's eyes, very long. At 50 years old, there's some people who are older than me who would say I'm just a kid. And at 50 years old, some people would look at me and go, well, that's pretty old. You're a grandfather? When I was 5 years old, 50 years old, oh my, that looked like a lot of years. But you see, it all depends on what was packed into those years that describes a person's experience. What revelations and what things happen in somebody's life define some of the wisdom that's revealed to them by God Himself. I met somebody today in California, old lady at the bus stop. This lady, she was just an average person, it seemed like. I sat down to get a bus, and the lady sat next to me. I just got off the phone with my wife, and I said, well, is the 323 coming at what time? And this woman proceeded to tell me where every bus in town was, at what time, knew when buses crossed where, which train to take to get there at a certain time, all in her head. Worked for AT&T for a lot of years. I detected an accent from New York. Here's a person that probably was a lot like me, maybe Asperger's syndrome, because a lot of people with Asperger's syndrome study things like bus schedules, who just seemed like an ordinary person who had extraordinary knowledge of certain subjects and certain things. Very interesting person to talk to. And I can say that the information that I've been given, the gifts that I've been given, have been a blessing and a curse. Just like an old TV series, Monk, if you watch it, a lot like that guy. Been given a lot of wisdom in this world. And I had certain perspectives and ideas that I saw when I was younger that have completely and totally been flipped on its head and made total, complete nonsense out of. And this is the God of mysteries that turns it all around. You see, I see everyday ordinary people for who they are and see some sort of wisdom in that. The rabble that you see out there, the hellraisers. I went to a place yesterday, bar, grill, with my wife. And these revel-rouser people, even though they were rowdy and didn't exactly use the correct vernacular, they had a sweetness about them. A little rough around the edges, a little biker-like, tattoos, whatnot. But down-to-earth people that just wanted to talk and be people. Sit back and lay back. And these are the people I like. Oh, I hang around with the wrong crowd. Well, this is the crowd that Jesus hung around. They called him a wine bibber, right? But there's something special about these people who are rough around the edges that God made. You don't know how many of them God's going to save. I love to be refined, but I see a lot of wisdom in some of the people that you would consider the lowest of life. And I don't consider them low lives. We're no better than they are. We had a great time at this restaurant with some people who were just a little rowdy. Great place on the 101 looking over the highway. Not so smart about being holy. but a lot smart about just living life. That's why God loves them. God made them the way they are. A little rough around the edges, but in some ways they shine more than the most holy people that I've ever met. And I just like to say that that's the wisdom of God. He takes the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. His children are down to earth, good people at heart. He lets them live in the way they live, and then shows them the holiness of Christ, but gives them a certain spice. I come to appreciate that spice that God made. I come to appreciate that little bit of hardness, that little bit of an outlaw in people. In some ways it's really beautiful. Now, I'm not saying sin is beautiful, but what I am saying is that there might be more wisdom there than most people would realize. And I would say that these are the things that we need to notice. That God has His purpose and His wisdom that makes everybody else's idea ridiculous. He flips everything on its head and takes these rabble and makes a people of them. He takes people just like that, changes their heart, and makes a true variety of some real people. I really want to hang out with a rabble up in heaven. The ones that were saved, the bikers, the fighters, the ones that lived. And not that they're proud of the bad things that they did. Oh, there's my phone. But that it's such a wonderful thing that variety was saved. Gotta go, everyone.